Welcome to the Campfire. Today we're analyzing District 10 5A Division 1. The teams in this district include Galena Park, Austin, Madison, Milby, Sharpstown, Sterling, Waltrip, Westbury, and Spring Woods. Let's begin by taking a look at these teams in our film session presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Sterling won the district a year ago at 7-1, and they're returning 13 starters from that team. That includes a couple of sophomore standouts on defense from a year ago. Cornerback Chris Lucas and defensive end Jacob Booth. The playmakers in this district may come from Waltrip, who finished tied for second in the district. Kevion West behind center and wide receiver Eric Norris were always up for big plays, and both were first team all-district. Galena Park will be a contender for the district crown as 10 5A MVP Kerry Clay is back to lead the Yellow Jacket rushing attack. The fourth spot is kind of wide open, but perhaps experience will play a major factor in who gets in. Austin returns 20 of their 22 starters from a year ago. Madison returns 15 starters, including two-way star Damian Duckworth. And Westbury returns 14 starters, led by Elijah Eke and Dejon Williams on defense. Milby made the postseason a year ago, but will be replacing skill position players. However, they do have Melvin Simeon returning on the defensive backfield. Spring Woods is led by receiver Nobel Thompson-El and will hope to challenge for the postseason. Sharpstown pulled off a couple impressive wins last year and will hope to improve on a 4-6 record.
The film session is presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. The Campfire is brought to you by DQ for treats and eats before and after the game.
For an even deeper look at 10 5A Division 1, here's producer Ward Fasold and Matt Stepp from Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football with the District Breakdown.
All right, Stepp, we are in 10 5A Division 1, which is primarily Houston ISD. We'll throw a couple other teams in there, but one of the teams that we throw in there is Galena Park, who's got the returning Offensive Player of the Year behind center, and they made a playoff spot last year. I guess before we get into Houston ISD, let's talk a little bit about the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, Spiro Amarantos has done a great job with that program. You know, Galena Park doesn't have the sheer physical talent that their brothers from North Shore have in Galena Park ISD, but they do have a system they believe in. They drill it into that they run it well. They drill it into their kids from the junior high level on up, and they've got an identity and they buy into it. They are going to run the football. They are going to run it, and run it some more. You know, they're not going to put it up very much. They are going to be brutally effective with the running game. And when you've got a guy like Kerry Clay, who ran for 22 touchdowns last year, 1,400 yards, and their quarterback, Kendall Combs, is back as well. And Combs, the thing about Combs, he doesn't throw it much, but when he does throw it, he's usually got guys running wide open, and they're very explosive when they do put the ball up. But Kerry Clay is a fun running back to watch. He's not very big. He's only about 5'5", 5'6", so he hides behind those big offensive linemen. But he's got great speed, and he's a tough guy to bring down. And they do a great job in this district. And I think Galena Park opens the year probably as one of the co-favorites in 10 5A Division 1, along with, I think, Houston Sterling, who, in my opinion, has been pretty much the most consistent Houston ISD 5A program in recent years. Gary Jesse's done a great job with that program. The Raiders bring back 13 starters from a bi-district playoff team.
Speaking about tough, we'll talk about that next week in 11 5A, where the Houston area did quite well in the postseason. So we will talk that next week.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers in our Players on the Rise, presented by Parker University. Kerry Clay of Galena Park was the offensive MVP of the district a year ago, and guess what? He's back. As a junior, he ran for over 1,400 yards and 21 touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets. Galena Park went into last year not quite sure what they had in Clay until they turned him loose. And then his action on the gridiron spoke for itself. Carey will be bringing his almost 9 yards per carry back to the football field in the fall. Another 1,000-yard rusher last year was quarterback Kevion West of Waltrip. He ran for 1,065 yards and averaged over 10 yards per carry as a junior, leaving the question, how many tacklers does it take to bring down West? The answer, plenty. Oh yeah, he can throw too. West flung the pigskin for 949 more yards and 13 touchdowns as well. Plenty of standout two-way players in this district, but the best might be Darius Hubbard of Westbury. Hubbard as a running back is shifty, fast, elusive, and a home run hitter. He's always a juke away from getting the Huskies to the house. Defensively, as a nickelback, Darius can play wherever the coaches line him up, and he'll simply make plays. Damian Duckworth of Madison is also a game-changing two-way player. At safety, Damian made 79 tackles and 2 picks as a junior. His long strides help him in one-on-one coverage and also in the track prowess. Offensively, Damian was selected as a second-team All-District receiver. The Marlins will need him on both sides of the field to try and make the postseason.
The film session is presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Our Ward Fasold caught up to Galena Park head coach Spiro Amarantos to talk about his Yellow Jackets in our Media Day segment.
All right, we are talking 10-5A Division I with Galena Park. Coach Amarantos, talk to me about your squad because we talk a little bit about last year. You guys got into district play and you really showed out right from the beginning. You got a win that you really maybe not expected. Maybe you did against Sterling, a loss that you probably didn't want to have with Sharpstown. And then in between, you guys really handled your business. Talk about how the momentum of last year may go into this year and get you guys ready for running for a district title.
You know what? We knew last year we weren't sure what we were going to expect getting into district, so I tried to schedule a little tougher some playoff teams from the year before. So we got Porter on the list, and then Baytown Sterling, and we kind of found our identity a little bit. We had some seniors that we wanted to give an opportunity to play. They've earned that chance, so we kind of let them kind of have a shot at it. Once we realized kind of what we had some younger kids kind of step up, and they ended up taking some starting spots, and that's kind of when we really started kind of clicking. As soon as we hit district, those 2 non-district games really helped us out, preparing us, and then we kind of got moving a little bit. That's when we found lightning in a bottle with Kerry Clay, and we started a quarterback that hadn't played quarterback for us before, and it just took him a little time to kind of get used to the speed of the game, and I think once that happened, we were kind of off and running a little bit.
All right, Coach, I appreciate you joining me, man. We will look forward to seeing some 10-5A action down the road.
Absolutely. Take care. Thanks for having us on.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. Hey, that'll do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we'll take a look at 11-5A Division I. Until then, have a great week, everybody.